Alright, so what we got today? Well, we're back on the little tiny home, tiny lot. It's been, I don't know what, 9-10 months since we've been here. I don't even know, I have to look back and see, but anyway, we're back on it, all grown up. So plan for today is, I think I said at the end of the last video, I'm not sure, we're going to widen the lot out a little bit and probably tie the road in at a different location out here, so it'll be a kind of a straight shot into the lot when we get it done here. So I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about here. So I knocked some of the weeds down, just kind of coming up. I come up right over there where the road used to be, and this is the lot. It's kind of hard to tell where it's grown up, but the driveway, we want it to come up through here and go up here and tie in. There's a road up here on the top of this hill, so we're going to tie into that instead of tying in kind of over here where we did before, and hopefully it's a little better grade. So the goal right now is to bring a lot of this dirt kind of where the excavator is and over here behind this lot, up and out this way, fill in over here by the road, and hopefully get us a good tied in road. Then we'll work on widening this lot out. May have to get rid of a couple of these trees. Probably will get rid of a couple of these trees, but yeah, that's the game plan so far. So let's get to it. So let's go ahead and knock out some of this brush here and see what we're left with. what we got so far. You can see I'm kind of aiming at this bank up here, so probably raise this on up a little bit more and hopefully tie in pretty good to the road up here. It's kind of hard to see, but right here, probably about 5 foot. We got to go on up here, raise it about 5 more feet. But yeah, so I'm just kind of cutting a lot of this out and down. I'm just going to keep bringing that material out right here, just cutting it out, carrying it up through there. And once we get that ramped up and tied in the way we want, we'll come over here and we'll start breaking all this down into this spot here and keep widening this out. Like I said, we'll probably get rid of that tree right there. But yeah, just going to keep cutting and pushing here and see if we can't build this up enough to amount to something. So yeah, let's get her. Alright, so here's what we got so far. Like I say, just been slowly cutting this down and carrying it up that way. And we're pretty close to being tied in pretty good there. I still may raise some of this up a little bit more, but this tree and this tree is the ones we wanted to come up between. So kind of be right in here somewhere where we're going to tie into the road. And it's still a couple feet low, but I'm going to run this on out about to that tree. I'll have to get rid of these little ones. And then we'll start filling in. I'm trying to get a slope off of that road onto this road. So we'll come all the way down to there. Hopefully once we get some of that bank dug off, it'll be a good enough spot to turn there. I think it's going to widen out pretty good, especially if we dig a lot more off of that bank. But yeah, looking good so far. So here's where we got tied in. Still needs a little bit of work, but it's tied into the blacktop. I went ahead and popped the barbed wire fence loose and got it out of the way, but like I say, it still needs a little bit of work, but it's tied in. It'll be kind of a straight shot all the way down to the tiny house seat. So for right now though, we want to widen this out. And what we're going to do is that tree's got to go. I think that's mimosa. It's rotted and broke, and it's wonder it's even standing. So we're going to go ahead and push that down. We'll be sitting right under a dead tree to do that. May try to knock that down first. I don't know. It'll probably just get all tangled up if I do. So we'll go ahead and knock them out of the way. And we're going to cut us a little road around the top of this bank, and then we'll start breaking it down into this spot, and then we'll just carry it out, level it up. So not sure how much I'll get done today. Probably have to come back another day this week and finish up, but we'll at least get started here, get that tree out of the way, and see what it looks like. So let's get to it. Alright, so we're back on the tiny home lot. We left off, I kind of dug me a little trail around the top here to get up on top of this dirt, so I'll start breaking all this down here shortly and kind of pushing it out. So this will be raised up a little bit, and then we'll slope the bank back there as we work our way across this. So you'll see in the video kind of what I'm doing here, but this will be easier with the dozer, but you know, I sold the dozer, so we got the excavator. So let's get the digging and try to knock some of this out. The road looks good, turned out pretty good. You know, still need some dress up work because it's kind of sagging in the middle, but we'll let this kind of settle in before we really dress it up. But really just want to focus on moving as much of this dirt from up here down to here as we can. So let's get to it. Loose here, you know, if I had the dozer, you could just break through all this, but the excavator, the blade don't really break through the, you know, the stuff that's already packed in, and it'll move the loose material, but it don't really cut as good as a dozer. So I kind of break it loose and throw a little bit over the side here with the excavator bucket, and then I'll keep working this down, you know, with the blade. If it gets too solid, then I'll stop the dig. But if the blade keeps breaking it down, I'll keep going with the blade. But you know, we're just trying to get this. The hard pack is back in here. You know, the deeper you go, the harder kind of packed it is. The outside edge should break off there a little bit easier, where it's got nothing holding it in place. You know. So we'll just keep chipping away at it. Eventually, we'll get down low enough. We'll just keep pushing straight out, you know, we won't have to dig as much with the bucket, we can just kind of nose it out with the blade. Alright, so that's got this pretty much wrapped up. Got it dressed up enough for the bad weather that's coming this winter. So we'll get this excavator loaded up, get out of here, make a little bit of a towing video kind of on the way. I got one coming out, it ain't published yet. You'll probably see it before you see this video, but that's in the works for the Ford. So yeah, this here looks good to me, and we'll let it set the rest of the winter and get back on this in the spring. So let's get here and go on something else.